Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name is Landon, and here we play Jank. And today I have the jankiest deck. It is so stupid, but my brother and I did a Soul Link Nuzlocke. That's a two-player Nuzlocke where, like, if let's say we both catch a Pokemon on a route, because you're limited to catching one Pokemon per route, right? And if one of them dies from either game, the other one has to die. And it was a blast. We did Sword and Shield. It was a blast. And freaking Greedent was the champ. Through like 80% of the run, Pokemon kept dying, and Greedent just kept it going. Holy cow. For my brother, it was Corviknight. For me, it was Greedent. And both of them just bodied the majority of the game. It was amazing to watch. So, I wanted to build a deck based on Greedent. And sure, I could have gone Greedent VMAX, but that didn't really seem interesting to me. This Greedent, though, holy cow, I love it, and I wish it did 10 more damage. That's it. If it did 10 more damage, I think we would have a serious rogue deck on our hands. Right now, it's just a jank-filled mess. So let's go ahead and get started talking about the deck as a whole, and explain what I'm talking about here. So I made several different versions of this deck, and this one is the one that I think is the most likely for people to actually play. Starting off with Greedent, we have 4 of, obviously. For 1 colorless energy, draw 2 cards, collect, no one cares. 2 colorless energy, so it can work with Twin Energy and Double Turbo Energy. Spill out 60 plus, discard your hand. If you discarded 5 or more cards in this way, this attack does 150 more damage. So that's 210 damage total. Now you can probably see why I wanted it to be just 10 more damage. If it was just 10 more damage, hitting 220, we'd be knocking out most Pokemon Vs. Right now, we're knocking out about half of them, I think. I mean, the main one, Lugia V-Star. I'm in the app. Let me just pull it up. Lugia V. 220 HP, right? We are missing the KO by 10 damage, and for the life of me, I could not figure out a way to add 10 damage to the deck and still have it relatively functional. We do have 4 copies of Skwovet to evolve from. I picked the Rebel Clash Skwovet because it's got 70 HP, which is pretty high for an evolving basic. And for 2 energy, you bite for 20 damage. Not bad, right? So, we also play 2 copies of Miltank, and I don't really like doing this. Miltank is a good attacker, period, with the ability Miracle Body, where it prevents all damage to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V. It's one of those generic good backup attackers that can just stop certain decks. My Rotom V-Star deck would be stopped by Miltank. I never ran into a Miltank, but it could be an issue with Rotom, you know? So I'm not a fan of throwing in Miltank, but I had to for this deck. Having that wall is just too valuable not to use. We also play 1 copy of Oranguru because of that Primate Wisdom ability, letting you swap the top card of your deck for a card in your hand. Plenty of times you're going to end up with a hand where it's like, man, I'm going to attack with Greedent. I'm going to discard my entire hand, but I want to save that 1 card. That 1 card, if I could save it, that's the card. Oranguru lets you do that. You put it on the top of your deck, and then you attack with Greedent, discarding your hand, and then next turn you draw into that card. Or you draw into that card at the end of your turn, thanks to Radiant Venusaur. Radiant Venusaur's Sunny Bloom ability, once at the end of your turn, after your attack, you may use this ability, draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. Since you have to discard your hand, Radiant Venusaur is going to bring you back up to 4. if you draw 1 card for your turn, that is 5, and that is the number you need for Greedent to hit 210 damage. So if you don't get knocked down, which in testing, I actually can chain a Greedent quite a while sometimes. So Radiant Venusaur lets me just keep attacking over and over again. And of course, Oranguru saves you. Saves cards, important cards that you might need. Manaphy, we play 1 copy of. We don't play anything big. So we need this 1 copy of Manaphy to protect us from bench damage. Pretty much every deck plays it, and man, I would remove it, except I know there's certain decks that would just be destroying us without it. So we gotta hold on to it for now. Maybe in the future we won't have so many bench hitters and we can drop it, but I don't think so because of rotation and everything. I think, yeah. And then here is the jankiest, the second jankiest part. Greedent is janky. This is the second jankiest part. The Zubat line. You might be familiar with the Zubat line from my Murder Crow deck, where we played this line basically exactly like this. I don't know if it was the exact numbers, but this is where I landed to try to get the most into the deck while still having it functional. We've got 3 copies of this Zubat. 40 HP is low, but free retreat. You can't deny how useful that is. We've got 3 copies of Golbat with the discrete draw ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. So it basically replaces itself and you get an extra card. You know, when you're trying to get yourself up to 5 cards, Golbat can really come in handy. And of course, we also have Crobat with drastic draw. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. So that just increases the likelihood of you having enough cards to hit the 210 damage that we're trying to with Greedent. Of course, Crobat also works as a backup attacker since 2 colorless energy, 100 damage, and you're hitting darkness weakness, where Greedent and Miltank, you're not hitting any weakness. So Crobat can hit weakness, but how useful that is debatable. We play 7 energy cards, 4 Twin Energy, and 3 Double Turbo Energy. I am not worrying about Duraludon. Duraludon would just destroy us. A lot of decks destroy us, to be fair, but this is just too much fun. We have 2 copies of Pal Pad to recover. There's a lot of recovery in this. I mean, there's 2 copies of Pal Pad and 2 copies of Ordinary Rod. That's the recovery. Oh, and 2 copies of Roseanne's backup. Those are the recovery cards for the deck, and really it's just to try to keep us from decking out and keeping important cards in the deck so we might draw into them in the future. We've got 3 copies of Bird Keeper because I did find that getting Pokemon stuck in the active was just terrible, and drawing 3 extra cards is pretty nice. It's a +2 because you gotta play it, but +2s are still good. 1 copy of Heavy Ball. Because we have so many basic Pokemon, we play 3 one-ofs, Oranguru, Manaphy, Radiant Venusaur. Heavy Ball just helps, you know. 2 copies of Ordinary Rod. We don't have any basic energy, so it's just about shuffling Pokemon back into the deck. We have 4 copies of Professor's Research. I had Schoolboy and Schoolgirl in this deck before, and it just wasn't doing enough. It's a +3 when you use it correctly, and Professor's Research was just needed way too often. Too many times where you run out of the hand, you don't have Radiant Venusaur, and next turn, what do? Well, Professor's Research helps fix that most of the time. By putting that on top of your deck with Oranguru, you can draw into next turn, play it down, boom, you have 7 cards plus whatever other draw you can muster. We do have Lucky Egg in the deck, 3 copies of it, and it just helps us keep cards in the hand, or get cards in the hand, actually. So Greedent will discard your hand, then get knocked out, Lucky Egg will trigger, and you will draw up till you have 7 cards in hand, giving you plenty of options that you may need. We've got 4 copies of Level Ball. We did not play Quick Ball. Quick Ball discards a card from our hand, and we gain 1. So we play and we discard, and then we gain 1 card. That's a -1 in our total hand. So we don't want to play quick ball. Sadly, I've tried to make it work. I really did, and I just couldn't. Maybe you can. We got 4 copies of Marnie because it puts you at exactly a hand of 5. So that's pretty useful for Greedent. We've got Capturing Aroma. I went Capturing Aroma instead of Evolution Incense, as sometimes you do need a basic. The coin flip is a little annoying, not always getting what you want, but it always gets you something, and that's what I like about Capturing Aroma. I think it's fantastic compared to something like a Pokeball where it's a 50-50 chance whether or not you get anything or you just burned a card for no reason. Capturing Aroma always gets you something. I think that's important to remember about this card, especially in this deck, because if you're trying to keep that 5-card hand and you flip Capturing Aroma and you get something you don't need, at least you get something to keep that hand pretty high up there, the card count in your hand pretty high. We've got 4 copies of Scoop Up Net to reuse Crobat mostly. However, it also works for like switching, emergency switches, and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I already mentioned the 2 copies of Roseanne's Backup, where you shuffle a Pokemon, tool card, and an energy card. We don't have stadiums because I could not make it fit. And you shuffle them into your deck. Now, let's go ahead and test the deck and see how it works, right? I did buy these sleeves just for Greedent because Greedent, to me, hanging out in trees, I just felt like the flowers was a good choice for it. Although the coin's always a little weird. I think the lines are blocking too much of the flower print in the background that you really only see when it's big on your screen like it is right now. Your opponent will go first. Of course they will. You know. Okay, so we got Skwovet, we got Zubat. We can just toss those down. We do have 2 level balls. That's actually pretty decent. We've got Bird Keeper and we got Marnie. I'm kind of... Ooh, and we're playing against Shadow Rider Calyrex V Max. Yikes. So we do get a double turbo, so that's pretty nice. I believe Shadow Rider V, we can actually KO with the Greedent. So Cresselia comes down, attach an energy. They are going first, so they won't actually get to use the Crescent Glow. Actually, with that Psychic deck, why did they go first? Because it's the AI, and the AI doesn't know any better. Evolution Incense, get that VMAX, even though there's no Pokemon to put it down on next turn. Yeah. Okay, we get Skwovet. I'm going to use a level ball for, I think, Zubat. I'm going to grab a Zubat, yeah. So we have 2 evolution options. I'm going to go ahead and play Bird Keeper, draw up a little bit here. Okay. Play down the double turbo. We can, next turn, we're actually looking pretty good. We'll bite for 0. Next turn we can level ball for a Crobat. Then we can scoop that up and play it down again on the other Zubat. So that's actually going to give us a lot of mileage out of this level ball here. We got to find a Greedent. So hopefully we can get that going. Professor's Research from our opponent. Drawing a brand new hand. Playing down lots of Galarian Articuno. Accelerating lots of energy onto the field. Not enough for the big attack, right? That's 5 energy? Yeah. Not enough for the big attack, it looks like. So they're going to switch out, even though they had an air balloon. Ah, jeez. The AI. The AI. We will level ball for Golbat. Articuno, actually, from the AI, I'm not too worried about. I don't think we're going to have to play Manaphy. So we'll discreet draw up. We get another Golbat. We don't even need to scoop up net the Golbat here. Yes, draw up. We get the Lucky Egg. We only have Bird Keeper in there, so I'm not going to play any of that down. We'll just play Marnie. I know that gives them a bigger hand, but really we're just focused on ourselves in this play, in the test. So we get Miltank, and we get Capturing Aroma. Let's play down Capturing Aroma. Tails. What does Tails get us? Is that basic? It's a basic. Okay. We will grab Oranguru. Looks like, sadly, we do not have Venusaur. There's the name, Venusaur. And we will Oranguru the Scoop Up Net to the top of the deck. And we get a Twin Energy. Now we could play down Miltank and get Miltank into the active. Not my favorite plan, but why not, you know? They don't have any Vs, so... But we can still route for 110. Get some damage down onto this Articuno. And next turn we can Level Ball. I don't think there's anything to Level Ball for. And we can just route again and keep routing until we need to switch to a Greedent, which may never happen. Hopefully it does, though, so we can actually show off the deck. So we get that Scoop Up Net again. I'm going to discard this time. We don't need the Level Ball. We don't need the Scoop Up Net. There is a Greedent, so we are pretty good right now, actually. Do I scoop up the Golbat? That's my big question here. We don't have any Pokemon in the discard. So, no, I'm just going to Oranguru the Bird Keeper on top of the deck, because that will hopefully get us in a good position next turn to be attacking with Greedent and really show off the deck. So Miltank gets our first KO. And what do we get off that first KO? Ordinary Rod. Ordinary Rod is a fantastic card. I wish I had a Marnie, because losing both Ordinary Rods are not great. We can Oranguru an Ordinary Rod on top of the deck, though, and then Professor's Research. So that's always an option. Oh, wait, we can't if we want to Bird Keeper. See? It's tricky. Boss up the Greedent. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now we can do what I said. Oh, man. Gotta love the AI. Yep. So we will Oranguru the Ordinary Rod on top of the deck. And let's just Professor's Research. We'll draw through our deck a little bit. We get a double turbo, which, yeah, we gotta play on the Greedent. Let's play Capturing Aroma, which gets us a basic. What basic do we not need? Well, all of our options are Skwovet. Sadly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 2 Pokemon in the discard. But we could also get some supporters back. Bird Keeper and Marnie being a good option there. So let's go ahead and Pal Pad. Marnie and Bird Keeper. Done. I did try that one card where you flip coins. And depending on how many coins, how many heads you get, you put that many cards on top of your deck. It just wasn't quick enough. It wasn't fast enough. It just didn't work out, you know? So that is the power of Greedent right there. Hopefully we can get something decent next turn so that we can keep it going. And that's the thing. Greedent is an extremely janky deck, but it can hit hard, and, you know, the AI sure doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah, just keep powering up that one Pokemon for no apparent reason. We could Heavy Ball. No, we need the Primate Wisdom, and we don't need the Heavy Ball, so we're going to do it with the Heavy Ball, which might sound counterproductive, but here we go. Double Turbo on the Skwovet and Marnie. That will put us up to 5 cards in hand. 2 Twin Energy. Yikes. But we need that one-hit KO. There we go. That's why we play Roseanne's backup. That's the card name, right? That one. Radiant Venusaur comes down. Beautiful. Getting that out onto the field will be a great benefit to us. Yeah, Roseanne's backup. Being able to recover those special energies are fantastic. Are they going to get KO? No, because we are at 130, not 120. So that's pretty useful. Shadow Rider comes down. See, that's 210. We can KO that. We don't play Boss's Orders or even Serena. I tried Serena. Didn't really like how that worked out too well. Now, the biggest issue with Greedent is the fact that... What do we do right now? You know? Let's put Radiant Venusaur. Because if we just attack, we're going to have no hand, right? But we're only doing 60 damage. Not even Miltank can get this KO. So what exactly is the point here? I'm going to throw Twin Energy on Golbat. And 40 damage because of the double turbo. So 40 damage. Not doing anything. Now they're going to KO Greedent. We're going to put up Miltank and we're going to grab this KO. But that's the biggest issue that I'm having with Greedent. And maybe through this week of play, we can figure out how to make Greedent actually work. I just have been struggling with it. But yeah, once Greedent's knocked out, we will top deck Radiant Venusaur. We will play that down onto the field. And we will have some draw happening, which will be fantastic. Yeah, they are getting their engine up and going too. So, yeah. Oh man, they got the side laser up as well. That's always scary. 220 damage to a Golbat or an Oranguru or even the Miltank is not great. The Greedent and the Radiant Venusaur, of course, can survive. And that's the best part about them. So, there we go. Get that KO with Miltank. Miltank's gotten half of our KOs so far. We get a Bird Keeper. That's pretty useful. Sunny Bloom will trigger, and we will draw 3 cards. 2 Lucky Egg and a Marnie. So, we can get this Lucky Egg down, but it doesn't actually seem like it's going to be that useful. Because what do we put it down on? Nothing that I can really see. I'm sure people are wondering why I didn't play Air Balloon. Air Balloon seems like a great one, so you can retreat into the Pokemon that you need to attack with. The biggest issue with that is the fact that Radiant Venusaur has 3 and Greedent has 3 retreat costs, and it just doesn't work out well, sadly. Oh boy. Okay, we are going to Oranguru, the Scoop Up Net. Why the Scoop Up Net, you ask? Because if we get a Crobat, we will be able to play it down, scoop it up, and that kind of stuff. We do get a Crobat. We get 2 Scoop Up Nets. Yeah, so we can Pal Pad some stuff back into the deck. So let's go ahead. We will play down Crobat, right? Right. Yes. Draw those up. Scoop up the Crobat. Play down the Zubat. And Pal Pad back in a couple Marnies. Right? How many Roseannes do we have in the discard? Let's grab one of those. Because that'll get us 3 cards back into the deck. And I think that's it. We just wait for our opportunity to get something big with Greedent here. Galarian Articuno probably ain't moving. Oh, yeah, they ran out of the deck. So that is Greedent Eats. Definitely more of a work in progress than I normally show on the channel. I just got a lot going on right now and needed something quick, and this seemed like fun, and it was so frustrating to get working, but I really do like it. I think it's ridiculous having a card that discards your hand at the end of the turn, and if you discard 5 cards or more, you do 210 damage. How do you not take that seriously? You know, like so many Pokemon try to do 200 damage, period. This can do 210, but it's a pretty high cost, although the energy cost is actually paid with 1 energy card. So maybe we can work together and get this deck working better. But I hope you guys enjoy what you see here. Again, this is probably my jankiest deck. Hopefully it will work and we'll have some good videos. And of course, you know, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what I'm doing here. And once we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to have a Discord channel that people can come join, talk about Jank decks, and expanded format, standard format, Gym Leader Challenge, other games other than Pokemon, I'm sure, and wherever you guys want. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.